So welcome to episode 2 of our High Street Histories. I'm Dean Parkin.
I'm Ivan Bunn.
And this time we're going to be looking at a building called the Vicarage, which was at number 13, the High Street. So tell us about the Vicarage, Ivan.
The Vicarage was a very, very grand building. It was erected in the early 1870s to replace a much smaller and older vicarage on the site. It was for the vicar of Lowestoft, and this is a wonderful view of the ground part of the ground floor. The 4 young ladies standing outside are almost certainly the maids that worked in the vicarage. When the 1891 census was taken, there are in fact 4 young ladies listed as living in there as housemaids.
Oh, wow.
And that presumably out the front is the vicar's, I was going to say horse and cart. You could hardly describe that as a
horse and carriage, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. And that's almost certainly his groom sitting in the carriage.
So where would they have kept the horses?
This stands on the top of the cliff, the yard's at the back, and like so many of the bigger houses in the high street, they owned the cliff, they owned the land at the foot of the cliff, where butting onto Wappler Road, and the stables were at the rear of the property. And
so it's a bit like having a chauffeur-driven car, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So if the vicar wanted to go out, I doubt if he would have made his way down the cliff to get into his carriage. He would have sent the coachman round to get the carriage and bring it to the front that he could...
Very nice.
Yeah. The house itself, the vicarage, was very, very imposing compared with the others round it. It had a fancy front. It was set back from the street, unlike the other buildings, with a nice little yard at the front, with a wrought iron fence, a fancy balcony on the first floor.
The balcony is very impressive, isn't it?
It's very impressive. This building was, I think, by the time it was erected, it was probably one of the, to use the local jargon, the poshest and biggest buildings in Lowestoft High Street.
So it's called the Vicarage. Would a vicar have lived there?
The vicar of Lowestoft lived there,
okay.
Yeah.
So he'd been vicar of St Margaret's?
Yes.
This is at the top end of the high street, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's not there, is it, today?
It's not, no.
So what happened to it?
As with many of the buildings on this side of the high street, they were all badly damaged, many destroyed in 1943 during an air raid. And
in the Second World War?
In the Second World War.
Yeah.
This is taken in the late 1940s, when the building had been uninhabitable because of the bomb damage, as you can see here. So it was decided that all of the remaining badly damaged properties on this east side of High Street would be demolished. And here you see the Grand Directory, sadly in the process of being demolished, but it gives a good idea of what a grandiose building that was compared with the others. The buildings to the south, that's to the right of the vicarage, have already been cleared.
It must have been a shock, wasn't it, to if you lived nearby, to suddenly wake up one morning or come out the air raid shelters and just see all that damage.
Yes.
So what's there today then?
Nothing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That is approximately, as far as I can calculate, this is on the right of this picture, is approximately where the vicarage would have been, probably behind where the lamppost is.
Okay.
And it was decided that all of those old houses would be cleared completely away, and a nice grassed area would be laid out. So here we are looking north up the high street in the present day, and of the vicarage, it's gone and forgotten by most people.
Yeah.
High Street has actually shrunk because of that. High Street continued, continuous houses all the way north on both sides, up as far as the big white building in the middle distance, Arnold House.
Yeah.
So you have to see...
Just near the lighthouse, isn't
Yes.
it, more or less? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at another view in the past of the same.
So we go
area.
back in time now, and this is approximately 1897 photograph. We're a little bit to the south of the vicarage, and we've turned round and we're actually looking south down the High Street.
Okay.
All of the buildings on the right-hand side, on the west side of High Street, were demolished in 1897 for the widening of the High Street and the gentrification, really, of the High Street as well. So all of these shops and properties have long since disappeared. And
on the right.
Yeah, on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, these properties are still standing.
The road looks sort of a bit muddy, doesn't it?
It's not a paved road at all. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got a shop there, haven't you?
The shop,
which might be a relative of yours. It's Howard Bunn.
Yeah, I haven't been able to fit him into my family tree, but he was a confectioner and tobacconist. He had his shop there, and
so a tobacconist would have sold cigarettes,
tobacco, cigars,
yeah.
pipe tobacco, pipes.
Okay.
And
so it was a shop that just focused on that. And you've also got walking sticks we can see advertised in the window.
Yes, and he would also sell sweets, usually out of big jars of loose sweets that as a confectionery, to use its original name. And it's quite a well-appointed property as well, because as well as the shop, it stretches further up the High Street for the living accommodation on the ground floor and the floors above. He was a taxidermist as well.
So what is a taxidermist?
A taxidermist is somebody who likes to take dead animals,
right?
Usually people's pets, and stuff them and
right.
arrange them to look, hopefully, as much as they did when they were...
So this is after they've died?
This is after they died,
yeah. So it's a way of keeping them,
It was very, very popular in the
Victorian
times
okay.
to do that. My grandmother, in actual fact, when she was young, when she was in her teens, she had a pet bantam hen.
Oh, right.
And after it died, her parents had it stuffed. And after she died, I had her stuffed bantam sitting in a glass-fronted box in my bedroom.